see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning and welcome to episode 877 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter free. I'm Brian, your host, and it's March 2nd, 2026. Already in March. Holy shit. This morning, I'm enjoying a fresh cup of FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com because life's too short for shitty coffee. At Food Forest Farms, your beans are roasted by real human hands using a clean stream air roaster. More than just a customer, your family. Get 10% off with load code LOTS10. That's LOTS10, and shipping is always free. When you head over to that website, check out C4 Club for even more awesome perks. And site has been redone. Scramble and let me know that this website has been completely redone. So head on over to foodforestfarms.com. That's foodforestfarms with an S.com. And check out the new site, C4 Club, and all the awesome air roasted coffee over there. Today we've got another packed show. Cabin work continues. A couple of completed projects on the cabin, and that's good news for me. Where we stand with that, whether it's finally time to consolidate UTXOs, what they are, why you want to consolidate them, and a few thoughts on that, just beginner Bitcoin UTXO talk. And something feels a little off with all of the warnings about Iran that I've been seeing, and I just want to mention that up front here before anything actually happens. Anyway, grab some coffee, smash that like button, and let's get started. Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Rewilder Life says, good morning, watching oil go to the moon today. Oh, yeah, oil. Did you fill up your tanks on Friday? I fill up my tank every weekend, unfortunately. But yeah, oil I think is about ready to pop up a little bit. We'll talk about that in the Iran segment, but it's a good thing. I was talking over in the Telegram group this weekend. A good thing that the president is pirating oil tankers out of Venezuela, so we don't have to worry about getting our oil through the Straits of Hormuz. Is it Straits of Hormuz over there that they shut down? Yeah, I don't know. I get them all confused. Good morning, Mike's Homestead. Thanks for popping in today. Rewilder Life says, doesn't matter. I save a few pennies for a week. Right. I fill up every week. It is what it is. I never really actually look at the price of gasoline. And the weird part was when I was a petroleum tech and I was traveling around and working on all the gas pumps, I never knew what the price was. I didn't pay for gas in my service van. I didn't think about that. I saw so many prices at so many different stations and so many different grades. I never could ever really tell you what the price of gas was. So, I mean, not even a general range. And really got out of the habit. I don't have the opportunity to hop different gas stations around here for a lower price. They are few and far between in this area. So you basically fill up where you're at, and it is what it is. So I did notice with the talk of gas prices the other day in one of the Telegram groups, I did notice that we were at this past weekend. I think we filled up on Saturday. Yeah, I think Saturday. 275. I think we were 275 for regular 87 87 E10 or whatever it is, the regular 87 oxygenated with ethanol. So the non-oxy, the clean 87 on the pump was a little higher. I'm not sure how much more, but Rachel says they're shutting everything down over there, so it's going to be spicy for a bit. Yeah, that's an interesting scenario with the straits over there. They basically, when they shut them off, if they're trying to get out, they're just basically like little sitting ducks, little sitting oil tanker ducks in the ocean or in the Gulf there. Is it the Persian Gulf? I don't know. My geometry is horrible. I can't tell you where anything is on the map. with that, I'm gonna grab another sip of coffee here. FTO Blonde is fantastic, and I'm glad I got one in my C4 package. It's always great to enjoy a pound of FTO Blonde espresso. Great creation by Brian over there at Food Forest Farms. Anyway, let's get to that Bitcoin guessing game contest. We can see up here green. We got green, go for green on the Bitcoin price, and I believe that's running on a 24-hour cycle. So if it's up over the last 24 hours, I think we get a green. I don't remember when I set that up what the time scale is, but let's say 6:08 on March 2nd, 2026. 6:08 March 2nd, 2026. Bitcoin price is at $66,345. $66,345 per Bitcoin. And let's get to that Bitcoin guessing game contest. If you guessed over in the Telegram group, all you got to do is reply to the message I put out there at the beginning of the week with announcing the winner for the week and making my guess, and then you can reply to that and put your guess in for the following week's show. My guess up there on the board, I guess $69,696, and I am about 3,000 off. Not horrible. I've been way worse, and I've been better, but 69,696 is not going to be the winner today. We'll go to the very high guesses. We got John Palmer. He might have been high with this guess, 76,543. Little bit off. We are about 10 grand off. Thesia Ellis coming in a little closer, 72,900. Chris Dixon, last week's winner, guessed 67,898. That was pretty close, but not close enough. On the low end, Blueberry, Texas came in with 62,000 even. He was not bad, 4,000 off. We're getting closer and closer. Canadian Farmstead, 63,500, a little bit closer there on the low end. And the winner this week, he's been a winner off and on, and man, the guy makes some great coffee. Scrambling in with a guess of 66,500, under $200 off for the week. Congratulations, Scrambling. You won nothing, but you do get bragging rights for the week. Great job on the guess with 66,500. Again, Bitcoin price, March 2nd, 2026. We're looking at 66,361. Around 66,000. There we go. Congratulations, Scrambling. If you want to get in on the guessing game next week for the big prize of nothing, head on over to the Telegram chat at t.me/lots chat. That's t.me/lots chat. The pinned post about an hour or so after I get done today, I'll get the winner announced and my guess in for next week. My guess, I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to stick with it. I got to go up a little bit with this conflict going on over in Iran. 69,696 will be my guess for next week. That will be April. I can't skip to April already. March 9th, 2026 will be the next contest. So, Bitcoin. Could use a huge God candle right about now. Bump up and take off on the bull run. We'll see. But I'll talk about later something to do right now when the price is down, when transaction fees are down, and everything else. If you don't know what UTXOs are and why they matter to you, you're going to want to stick around a little bit for the second segment of the show. First segment, we're going to talk about the cabin update. As usual, we had a good week. We had a good productive week. We actually hit our goal of what we wanted to get done on the cabin early on Sunday. We were able to come home a little early, get some other stuff done, have some conversations with family, and do a little bit of maintenance on the dogs again, going through some stuff with them, trying to fix some issues with the pooches. And so it was nice to get done a little bit early on Sunday, and we also had to make a trip, emergency trip to Lowe's. I guess emergency is a word for it. We made a trip to Lowe's on Saturday in the middle of the workday, and still ended up getting done with everything we had hoped by Sunday early. I think it was before noon. We wrapped up. Anyway, it's working really out. It's working out really well with Corey's new schedule. She's working 4 longer days and getting 3 days off to get out and help with work on the cabin. And so this week she had Thursday, Saturday, Sunday off. We had intention to get, good morning, Hunter. Thanks for popping in over on Twitch. We had an intention to get the rest of our windows installed, which would complete the 10 windows installed in the cabin, and also wanted to get a set of stairs built and installed to the front covered porch of the cabin. At the moment, we had just been using a step stool to get in and out. So the floor level of the cabin is about 4 feet off the ground. And since we put the floor in and we were working inside and everything, we've just been using a step stool to climb up and access the interior of the cabin. We were kind of over that. We'll also be bringing more materials in, working a lot more inside, and it was just time to get at least one access point that wasn't a wobbly ladder sitting in the mud and the dirt. So needed to take some time, build some stairs, get those installed, and then move on. Windows, by the time we got to this last wall, were pretty easy. We had 6 installed, 2 on each of the walls, and then this last wall, we were going to do 4 windows in that wall. So we had 4 left to do. Got a couple done on Thursday. Also got our pad to where we're going to land these steps. So the steps we were building and installing right now are what I would guess would call semi-temporary. Probably a couple of years is what we're guessing. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Basically, we're putting the steps in, and then when the cabin's done, when we're there and living there, and everything's kind of caught up, and the money's all spent, and we're accumulating a little extra money, we're going to put an extension on our covered porch, and it's going to go right where the steps are that we were putting in. So basically, the steps will get taken out, deck will get extended out, and then we will put new steps on there. So I didn't want to pour a concrete pad for the stringers to land on. I didn't want to do anything super permanent. So basically decided to dig down, excavate a little bit, then a big pad, put a layer of chert down, driveway gravel if you don't have chert where you're at. But and then compact that with a tamper, and then grab some smaller stone and put a layer of that, compact that down, get it all level, and have that for a base for the steps to land on. That way, when we take the steps out and move them, we'll be able to either just leave that stone there, or dig it out. Shouldn't be too bad. It's only 5 to 6 inches of stone. Dig it out and use it somewhere else. So these are semi-temporary. We wanted to build them good enough that we'll be able to use them for construction, and we'll also be able to use them, and the dogs will be able to use them once we move in. Taking the dogs into consideration, and our large dogs and our aging dogs, decided we wanted to make the slope of the stairs very, very, very low. Basically, as low. From my research. Now, to preface all this, I'd never built stairs from scratch before. I'd helped on stair projects. I'd help on deck builds and all that stuff, but I had never been the one to lay out stringers, cut stringers, install them by myself, do all the figuring and measuring and planning. So this was a new project for me. Through my research, I found that the shortest rise, so basically the depth of how much you have to pick your foot up to go from step to step, the rise to get up the steps, the shortest distance that is relatively comfortable for a human, an adult human. It's about 5 inches. Standard steps you're going to find are usually around 7 to 7.5, maybe a little less than 7, depending on where you're at and how high you're going over what distance. We were also kind of battling a stump that's kind of in the way, not necessarily where the steps are going to land, but where you were going to step off the steps and continue to walk. Have a little kind of an old stump that eventually will get removed, but was just kind of in the way of walking straight out. We wanted to make the steps extra wide for the dogs walking up them together, or possibly the dogs walking up them with us walking up them. So I had these restraints in place when I was designing these. So for a first shot at doing this and just learning it, I was pretty happy with the way they came out. Thursday, I was talking about, we excavated the pad. We got the pad all finalized. I had taken some rough measurements just to the ground and done some rough sketch outs and figuring out the math on the stringers. But Thursday we finalized the height, the drop, how much distance we were going to have to come down. Got that pad done, got it fairly level, got it all compacted and where we wanted it. Corey was out there and helped me get measurements for the rise and the run of the staircase. So I came home Friday. She was working. I did some calculations and realized that some of the lumber that I had bought on the assumption of the measurements that we did before, the rough measurements before we did the pad, were kind of off. They were off enough that some of the lumber I bought wasn't what I needed. So Friday morning, I finalized all the measurements, finalized all the lumber I needed, made a trip to the local lumber store, which, by the way, will no longer be going to Lowe's to buy lumber. Maybe the other stuff, maybe the not lumber, the hardware, the screws and things like that. But no more buying lumber at Lowe's. I found that the local lumber store there, about 2 miles down the road from Lowe's, has both cheaper lumber, better customer service, like above and beyond better customer service, cheaper lumber, and the lumber is better quality. So got to break that habit of buying lumber at Lowe's and just get it at the local shop. But when picked up the lumber I needed from the mistakes that I made, wasn't horrible, wasn't all of it, it was about 6 pieces out of 20 that I had picked up. So Hunter says ut.stat. I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, Hunter says about the Satoshi gift cards at Lowe's. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to buy at Lowe's still. The screws and tools and things like that at the local place are a little spendier. So there's plenty of opportunity to get the Bitcoin back at Lowe's, and there's plenty of other places on the Fold card to get to buy gift cards from. So it is what it is. It's math, and really, the money I save on the lumber plus the headaches with the customer service, the fact that I don't have to go around with a cart and load up all my own lumber at Lowe's, take it to the checkout, and then go load it into my vehicle myself, and I save money. I think that's better. But anyway, Friday, picked up the lumber, got it up there, kind of started messing around with laying out a stringer. I believe I cut the first one just to get it done, and then was going to wait for an extra set of hands with Corey on Saturday. Saturday, we got out there and got the two windows knocked out. That completed all the windows. All the windows are installed, it's a great feeling. 10 of them had got them all in. they all went really well. Super smooth. I think when you're framing from zero and you can get your sills level and buying quality new construction windows, they were all really square. And man, we really didn't have to shim much at all. Like set the windows in and center them in the rough opening, and they were all good to go. All moved really smoothly, all lined up pretty square and level since the sills were level. So I was happy with the windows. The scaffolding we borrowed from a friend worked phenomenal for putting those windows in about 7 feet off of the ground. And so we got them in. That was really good. After that, we started working on the steps. Figured out that the stringer that I cut was good. Started to measure off the other stringers. Got them all measured out, and I started cutting them and using we're using 2x12s, pressure treated 2x12s to cut the stringers out of. And I was using a battery, a 20-volt DeWalt battery skill saw, which, granted, the blade is probably super dull. The blade's been around, a couple years now. The batteries have been used for quite a while, and it just didn't have the guts. With a completely charged battery, it would work all right. But as soon as you made a cut or two, it really bogged down. It kept kind of it really bogged down enough that it would turn off. And I got frustrated enough that I said to Corey, we got to go get a corded skill saw, since we had the generator out there, and we'll just run it. We just didn't have enough nuts with that small battery operated circular saw to get through those pressure treated 2x12s. And we kind of run into that problem when we were doing the floor joists too, when we were cutting those, and ended up using the big radial arm saw. I guess radial arm saw, is that what it's called? Compound miter saw, compound sliding miter saw. I don't know what the name of that thing is, but that worked great. So off to Lowe's we went. It's about a half-hour trip there. Picked up a skill saw, picked up some screws, and it was $100. It was not horribly priced. It was I think we ended up going with the Craftsman 15 amp, and with a new blade, we got back, plugged that in, and fired off, and it handled those stringers no problem. So we zipped off the stringers. We kind of we went to get them all put up, and turns out that I didn't really mismeasure one of the stringers, but one of the cuts, and I think it was one of the cuts when I was messing around with the saw, and it wasn't cutting properly, and I was trying to push, and the board was sliding and all sorts. But one of the cuts, and a very important cut, basically the bottom where it sits on the ground, was completely skewed. It was probably 15 degrees off of square, and I was like, really can't do that. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially since these are temporary permanent, I guess. I didn't want to be that far off. If I was a little off and it came together solid, I would have been all right with it. But this was way too off. So basically scrapped one stringer. And as I talk to people that have done this for the first time, that have built stairs for the first time, I did pretty good. Only scrapping one out of a total of 4 that we ended up putting on. But anyway, cut the new stringer, measured out the new one, cut that, everything lined up good. We got it all set up, and it was late. We needed to get home and do the dogs, so we decided that we'd pop out on Sunday morning and finish that off. Sunday morning, we got out, lined everything up, and squared it up as close as we could, and got them resting. All the measurements were pretty close. Screwed everything in, got the deck boards for the treads put on, and everything was solid, super solid, no bounce. Everything looks good. Corey and I were using it. It is they are definitely shallow steps. I think we ended up at about 5 1/3 inches on the rise for steps, and went with 11, just over 11 inches for the tread depth. So for those big dogs with their big paws and their bad hips can get up those stairs pretty easily. Me with my long legs, I'm guessing I'm going to be skipping 2 to 3 steps at a time on the way up. On the way down, it's going to be like tap dancing down the steps. Corey likes them. She's got short little legs. She said that they're great, and she's happy. She's happy, and that's the biggest thing. So, completed 2 projects this weekend. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. Thanks for popping in. Completed those 2 projects over the weekend. Then we headed home and took care of some stuff here. So what now? Moving forward, we will be building another small deck. Corey and I went back and forth. We need to build a deck to install the other door. We have one more exterior door to install, and then we'll have basically the windows, doors installed and be ready to do trim and metal. But my problem is the door needs to be installed about 4 feet off the ground. And the scaffolding we borrowed is fantastic. It was great for the windows. It was almost just a little too tall for the windows, and they were another 3 foot above where the door is going to be installed. So we decided we were going to build a landing or a deck or the full deck we eventually want on that side, since we need a way to get in and out anyway. This isn't just for putting the door in. This will be for putting the door in, and then, like, depending on what we had decided, it was going to either be permanent, the whole deck that's going to end up on that side in the end, the end vision, or just a temporary, a semi-permanent temporary landing to use until we buy all the other stuff we need and then put a big deck on. We went back and forth and looking at the cost of projects and the size of the deck we eventually want out there. We decided to build something smaller to start, easier to get done, smaller, easier on the wallet, and quicker, basically. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put a 6x8, a little 6x8, probably freestanding, maybe attached at some points, but basically a freestanding deck with steps up so that we can get to install the door and then have access to the door. That'll be the next project, and once that's done, we get the door installed. We'll be moving on to trimming out and getting that metal on the outside. So that'll be a big step once everything is enclosed and dried in. Basically, that would be a huge step. So I don't think the deck's going to take too terribly long. I was looking at that yesterday afternoon. Different ways to do it, different amounts of materials, and how we're going to transport the materials to the site. But once the material is there, it shouldn't be a whole lot of project. It should go pretty smooth and pretty quick. And then we get that door in and we're ready to rock and roll. So excited about that. Excited about the progress we made. Weather was absolutely phenomenal this weekend. It looks like we're heading into some rain, some significant rain coming up over the next couple of weeks. But this past weekend was just great. Saturday, I think it was 77 and sunny with super low humidity. So it was just like, it was one of those days you stand there in a t-shirt and jeans and you're like, if it could be this way 365 days a year, I would, this is where I'd want to be, because it was absolutely gorgeous weather. So hopefully that continues for a while and we can get some solid work done in the next upcoming weeks. So that was kind of an update. Happy with the progress. But we were both excited this weekend when we finished everything that we had on the docket and we were able to get some bonus work done. And got new tools. Let's move on to Bitcoin. Anybody know what UTXOs are? If you're in Bitcoin, if you're new to Bitcoin, maybe you don't know. If you're a seasoned Bitcoiner, maybe you don't know. Maybe you've heard of UTXOs. Maybe you have looked it up. Maybe you know exactly what they are. But I thought I would cover that today. I was kind of looking around and looking at transaction fees currently. So right now in the down of Bitcoin with prices being down basically 50% of what the all-time high was a while back, and with hopefully a bull run on the horizon. I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying next month, but historically a bull run will be coming sooner rather than later. When that happens, when prices start going up, when the network gets busier, transaction fees go up. Currently, transaction fees are low relatively. And one thing to consider when transaction fees are low is consolidation of UTXOs. So what a UTXO is it stands for unspent transaction output. And to understand it, I actually used ChatGPT to give me a explain this like I'm a 5-year-old. Explain UTXOs like I'm a 5-year-old. And it did a pretty decent job. So I'm gonna go with their bullet points with that explanation. I'd be more than happy to discuss it with anybody privately. If you still have questions, you're more than welcome to send a message over on Telegram. You can email me at info@thelastproject.com and we can help you out. But basically, a UTXO is unspent transaction output. If you think of a Bitcoin wallet, a lot of people think of a Bitcoin wallet and the way they're set up. The user interface on Bitcoin wallets, it gives you a total balance, just like your bank account, because that's what people are used to seeing. But in reality, when you have a Bitcoin wallet, you have a Bitcoin address, it isn't a cumulative amount. Basically, when you send a transaction to a wallet, they don't combine in the wallet. So if you're stacking sats or your dollar cost averaging, say you're buying $5 of Bitcoin every week and then sending it to one wallet. And I would suggest and with what we're going to talk about with consolidating UTXOs, it's a great time to transition to a hardware wallet. One of the reasons I actually got thinking about it was thinking about some different content to do for the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus hardware wallets. But anyway, if you're buying $5 in Bitcoin a week and you're sending it to a wallet, think of the accounting method in the wallet like a piggy bank. And each $5 transaction is a coin going in the piggy bank. In your piggy bank, they don't all magically make $1 when you put 20 nickels in. There's 20 nickels. You have $1, but there's 20 nickels in the piggy bank. Now, when you go to spend something from your wallet, the transaction will use, just like you would out of your piggy bank, it might use, and you want to send, say you got $1 in nickels in your piggy bank, and you want to buy something that's 82 cents. Basically, you would take 85 cents worth of nickels and send it. You'd count them all out. You would give the guy 85 cents in nickels, and you get a couple pennies back. The same thing kind of happens in a Bitcoin wallet. Say you have $100 in Bitcoin, but it's broken into $5 transactions, $5 UTXOs. It will take however many of those smaller increments, bundle them together, send that, and you will end up, if it's not an even amount, if you have leftover, just like your piggy bank, you'll end up with another UTXO in your wallet for your quote unquote change. Why does this matter? It really doesn't, accounting wise. If you're stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking and never spending, it really doesn't fucking matter. The Bitcoin wallet doesn't matter how many UTXOs you have in there. It all function the same. It'll give you your overall balance. The issue comes with spending, first of all, and transaction size. When you send Bitcoin, whether to yourself or someone else, or you're purchasing something with it, or anytime you're sending it around, there's transaction fees on sending the Bitcoin. If you are sending your $100 in Bitcoin, or excuse me, your $80 in Bitcoin, and you have all those $5 UTXOs in the example I was giving, and it needs to send, what is 85 divided by 5 is 17. If it needs to send 17 UTXOs to cover your $80 that you want to send, the transaction fees are going to be significantly higher than if you're going to just need to send one, if you had consolidated your UTXOs into one $100 quote unquote coin in your piggy bank. So right now, not a big deal. Fees are super low. Network congestion, super low. In the end, I think there's a big worry, or a concern, I shouldn't say worry, a concern in the Bitcoin world that all these UTXOs, and they're just going to keep multiplying, because as you spend Bitcoin and it leaves change, quote unquote change in fiat world, it's going to just keep multiplying UTXOs. The size of the Bitcoin network is going to get really big. What you can do to prevent the excess fees, you basically can send, what consolidating your UTXOs is, you can basically send yourself a transaction and it will combine them. I think there's some wallets that will do this automatically now. I'm not sure. I know the Blockstream Green wallet doesn't, and Blue wallet doesn't, and those are two that I've been using. Basically, you take all of your Bitcoin in your wallet and you send it to yourself in one transaction. It takes all the smaller UTXOs and combines it into one, and now you have one UTXO in your wallet. It'd be great if you could stay and say, oh, let's just have one in our wallet at all times, and that would make the fees the lowest it can. But basically, if you send anything from that wallet that isn't the full amount, you're going to end up with more. From what I can read, what I researched, I think that the target per wallet would be 1 to 10 UTXOs per wallet. Some wallets have an easy way to view what you have, how many you have sitting in the wallet. There are other workarounds using the Block Explorer and different ways you can do it. Again, that's above this conversation, but you're more than welcome to reach out, and I can help you through that, or send you in the right direction on how to figure out where you're sitting with that. And if you're a hodler, if you're never going to spend your Bitcoin, if you're just piling it away to pile it away, maybe you don't have to worry about this. But if there's any chance at any point in the future, and this goes kind of the same discussion as say like a Roth a Roth IRA versus a 401k and paying taxes now versus paying taxes in the future, where the theory is, taxes are only going to go up. So get them out of the way when they're low. Same thing with transaction fees. It does follow the Bitcoin price cycle, but in the end, as prices go up, fees go up, and eventually fees are going to keep going up. And so if you can take all of those small little transactions and combine them into one big one and save yourself a big headache if you go to even move funds. I guess I shouldn't say not spending Bitcoin. If you're just going to move it from wallet to wallet, shuffle it around, you're going to pay transaction fees. So having your UTXOs consolidated is a good, just best practice Bitcoin. And I was thinking about it. With Blockstream Jade and things like that. And basically, yeah, if you got a bunch of wallets all over the place that have a bunch of tiny transactions into them that you've been stacking sats, you've been DCAing, you've been doing it right. It might be time to just get one hardware wallet and send everything to the wallet. So all your smaller wallets send the full balance, and that comes in as one UTXO. I hope that kind of made sense. If it didn't, definitely let me know. Send me a message. I would be more than happy to explain it to you. And if I get enough feedback that made no fucking sense at all, I can think of a better way to explain it. So just a thought on Bitcoin. And with that, talking about the Blockstream Jade and Jade Plus, I mentioned it last week. Blockstream changed their affiliate host, basically the company that runs their affiliate program. New link. I put that out. I got that changed on most of the places that people find my link. In the show notes, in the video notes, it's going to be there, but it's a new affiliate link. The discount code and the affiliate code stays the same. The Lots Project. You can always put that in at checkout to save yourself 10% over at Blockstream. But one cool thing, one new feature with the new affiliate program company is that you can either get 10% off at checkout, or you can get 10% back in sats. I haven't done that yet. I don't need to buy a new hardware wallet, so I'm not sure exactly how that works. If somebody does end up using that and going over there and getting the sats back, if you could give me a how that went and what you think of that process, that would be fantastic. But otherwise, you can still get that 10% off over at rewards.blockstream.com/the Lots Project. And I appreciate that. If you need help setting it up, if you need help figuring it out, I'd be more than happy to help you out. So Blockstream, Jade, and Jade Plus, my recommended hardware wallets for your Bitcoin. Let's see. Oh, big thing happened. big thing happened over the last week. We decided to bomb Iran. I guess Israel and us decided to bomb Iran. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, honestly. It was interesting the other morning in Telegram. Somebody was talking about the Department of Homeland Security being shut down because their spouse was having some issues getting supplies in at work. And I was like, wait, DHS is shut down? Didn't even know. It had been 2 weeks. It sounded like. Had no clue. I really kind of checked out. I've been focusing a lot on the cabin build, on some other things. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Always coming in with a speech stopper, I guess. Chris Dixon says, "Didn't the Beach Boys do a song called Bomb Iran?" Yeah. I don't know if we're showing our age, Chris, but I know exactly the song you're talking about. Does anybody even know who the Beach Boys are anymore. My mom was a huge fan. I heard all of the songs growing up on repeat, and yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But anyway, I had no idea the government was shut down. I didn't know. I had kind of passing knowledge of bullshit going on with Iran, but that's been 30 years. That's been my whole life. 30 years, as long as I can remember, I guess. But tensions have been high in the Middle East for a while. And it always seems to be saber rattling or blah, 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 or little skirmishes here and there. The other morning, I got up, I was drinking coffee, and I saw that airstrikes had been taking place on Iran. Looked like 900 within 24 hours, which is definitely a significant amount. Iran's fighting back. They bombed a bunch of places. They bombed a bunch of U.S. installations in neighboring countries. A bunch of boats and things like that. They were targeting quite a bit. Sounds like the Ayatollah was killed. The supreme leader, the supreme religious leader, Iran. But other than that, I really, other than the fact they're just killing people. What we need peace to kill. We need to kill people for peace. Like, it doesn't make fucking sense, whatever, to me anymore. Maybe back in my younger years, I was a warmongering cheerleader for patriotism and rah. But I've gotten to a point where I don't need to show my patriotism by supporting killing fucking people. Regardless, I still kind of pay attention to the stuff. Like Rachel was saying earlier, gas prices are going to go up. They did close the Strait of Hormuz, which will limit. I thought it was way more, but I saw a figure yesterday that only about 20% of the world's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. 20% is enough to send something spiraling, but I don't think it's the end of the world, especially since we have Venezuelan oil now because of more killing fucking people. And I know the regime in Iran killed 30,000 people. Yeah, I fucking know, but that's not my problem. I don't know why I'm paying for bombs to kill more people because they killed people. Nah. Anyway, we got some oil. I saw a video of the president standing next to one of his pirated oil tankers that he took because of some words that he said that made it his. So oil, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a huge problem. That doesn't mean that the prices won't skyrocket, even though the numbers don't say it should. Do I think that this war with Iran is a good idea? No, not at all. But one thing has been sticking out to me. We've already seen in Austin the other night. I looked into a little bit of that, but it seemed like he was an Iranian sympathizer, not Iranian. He wasn't Iranian. He was from Senegal or someplace. But some guy in Austin shot up a nightclub, had an Iranian shirt on, and basically it either was related to this or was definitely reported to be related to this, with the spin on it. But what I'm seeing is a lot of government agencies warning of quote unquote sleeper cells, quote unquote Iranian sympathizers, not synthesizers, sympathizers. And it seems like they're really, really trying to get the point across that there's the large likelihood of sleeper cell attacks. there's a large likelihood of this, that, and the other thing. Now, if they know there's a likelihood, if they, the government, knows there's a likelihood of this happening, why don't they do something about it, first of all? And maybe they are. B, the thing that it makes me wonder is, what are they setting up? I could see one agency coming out, maybe the FBI or the NSA, because they're spying on everybody, the National Spying Agency, coming out and saying, we think that there's probably some Iranian sleeper cells in the U.S. They've been foreseeing this war, but they're not very organized, and we're probably going to be able to take care of it, blah, blah, blah. Just a blip on the radar. But I'm seeing it coming from all different directions, and it really gives me a gut feeling that maybe it might be being used for cover, might be being used for possibly something like an attack on infrastructure or people or whatever, with an easy scapegoat. I don't know this for sure. Just a gut feeling that I see when it almost is like people are trying to explain it away. You ever deal with a little kid that wants to set you up for the fall, and he's just not really good at it. He's like, well, this might happen, and then they know full well they're gonna do it themselves, and they're just trying to blame the dog. They didn't want to eat their homework, and so they say, my dog's been eating my homework quite a bit lately, and then miraculously 2 days later there's no homework and the dog ate it. Could be wrong. I hope I am. I hope our government isn't so nefarious that they would ever do anything to harm American people. That could never be true. But it sounds like there's a lot of sympathizers for the cause, and it sounds like that Iran might be able to put out a call to the other terrorists. It just sounds like a fucking movie plot. Iran could definitely bring on some sympathizers that may also be organized here in the United States. We did have a Mexican border that people were just streaming over for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years straight. There's no way that anybody with nefarious motives or anything like that could have come in with the waves of people. So keep your head on a swivel. I'm fairly confident that here where I am, there's not going to be much going down. You can spot activity like that pretty clearly amongst the faces in the low populated areas here. There isn't a whole lot of diversity. If you're picking up what I'm saying, we all seem to look almost alike around these parts, and the population is very sparse. Chris Dixon says, well, there's been enough books wrote about it. Wonder which one they'll use. Exactly. I actually went to ChatGPT, and I'm not planning on doing any of this shit, but I was just curious. I saw some numbers of potential sleeper cell individuals, participants in the United States, and I think the number was just it must have been some bullshit AI article on social media. But man, they said something like 18,000. I'm like, that just seems way, way too high. Didn't look into it much more than that, but I went to ChatGPT and I was like, hey, what could 18,000 relatively decent, organized individuals with a common goal pull off in the United States. And GPT was not excited about telling me, giving me ideas of what terrorists might do. So I just framed it in the fact that I'm writing a fiction, a factual fiction novel, and said, hey, here's I want it to be real, like a Jack Ryan or was that Jack Ryan? I don't know, whatever the terrorist 24. I think that was one of the old TV shows and all that shit, where it's based semi in reality. That could be true. And GPT kind of confirmed my suspicions that number was really high. But the scenarios that could play out with that amount of people were fucking crazy. Once I framed it in the book or / movie framework, it just shot out a bunch of plot lines, and I was like, that could get interesting. Again, I feel happy that we're here in the middle of fucking nowhere with no population. It has its challenges for a lot of things, but one thing is, I don't think there's going to be any direct attacks here. I could be wrong. But yeah, anywhere from coordinated attacks at all the same time across the country with that many people, you could really do some significant damage, down to random sporadic attacks at different times. It really, ChatGPT asked me if the point was to be a long drawn out psychological thriller or a quick hit most destruction event, like similar to 9/11. And I was like, you're picking up what I'm laying down here. So anyway, I just got this really weird feeling that that they're telling us what's going to happen, and whether it's whether or not it is homegrown, or if it actually is sleeper cells that kind of smuggled their way in through the border or other ways, I don't fucking know. But there's always a cause and effect. We'll see. Smells fishy to me. Smells fishy. They seem to be talking it up way too much. But anyway, we didn't talk about Epstein today, and I think that might be part of the point. I saw a tweet that somebody said that that Israel is holding on to Epstein files that are blackmailing Trump and the administration into fighting this war with them, with Iran. And I thought that was an interesting point. Bless you, Corey. So yeah, I got no thing on Iran other than I just don't think we need to be killing more people. Sounds like there's dead people already, and it's only going to get worse. And if we ever send in troops on the ground, I think at this point it's all remote. It's all airstrikes and drone strikes and things. Also, be careful online. Definitely, as you're scrolling through your social medias, if you see videos of things getting blown up here, there, and the other thing, a lot of it's fake, a lot of it's AI, a lot of it is video game footage. Video games have gotten super realistic, and if you're not careful, you might be watching something, reading a news report that is completely false and made up. So it's a new age in reporting and consuming information. So definitely be careful out there with what you see, and that's kind of why I got no fucking opinion on the whole thing, is because I don't know. I don't know. I haven't. I'm not a geopolitics expert. I don't know the relations between all the different players. Mike's Homestead said seeing if it's believing. Yeah, I think it might have been on this show about a year or more ago. I think it was around the time that Trump got shot in the ear that I talked about how much seeing is not believing anymore with AI and with AI being improved in light years since then. The video is only getting better and harder to depict. Chris Dixon says, whoever controls the propaganda. Yeah, the Department of Propaganda. Welcome to 1984, where we shovel you your fucking information, whether it's bullshit or not. So good luck, folks, in the future. Anyway, on that depressing fucking note, let's wrap it up today, guys. If you want to participate in the Bitcoin guessing game, if you want to hang out with a bunch of cool people and bullshit about whatever comes up with a sarcastic, snarky take on it, some really good conversations, lots of good information, you can head on over to the Lots Project Telegram chat at t.me. That's t.me/lots chat. t.me/lots chat. Just hit join the group. You'll have to wait for me to get around to approving you, but I'll probably send you a message saying, where'd you hear about the group? Say, hey, I heard about it on the podcast and I'd love to participate, and I will let you in. Let's keep all the spam bots and the crypto scammers out of the group. Other than that, this week gonna work on getting the material for that deck build, get that started. Hopefully it's looking like a lot of rain on Corey's days off, so we'll see how much we can get done, and also hunting out a trailer to pick up for all these material deliveries I got to make for myself, and we'll see about that. So on the hunt for a decent sized trailer. Other than that, it is what it is. Hope you have a fantastic week. Hope the weather where you're at is cooperating with you. If you're looking to get some comfrey in the ground, great time to head on over to comfreyroots.com and pick up comfrey. Pretty much anywhere you can get a shovel in the ground, you can get comfrey started and have that established before the heat of summer comes around. So comfreyroots.com, rewards.blockstream.com/lots project for your hardware wallet needs. All right, guys, hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks for hanging out this morning. We will catch up with you next Monday.